Hello and welcome to Powell Guitar. This month we're going to start by talking about some chromatic exercises. I think this is a great thing for students of all ranges, ages, and abilities. Not just people who are beginning, but people who want to refine their technique work. Chromatic exercises are really where it's at to make sure that you've got some synchronization going between your right and your left hand. And so I'll be doing this talking about the technique work in regard to classical guitar, but it also applies using pick style as well. So chromatic exercises are something that are very visually easy to recognize on our instrument. Our frets are done by half steps or in chromatic fashion. When you hear these, you're going to hear one note, then the next possible note, etc. On a keyboard, it's going to be like playing neighboring pitches towards one another. So sometimes with my students, I refer to these as being crunchy sounding, or with my younger students, I call them creepy crawly. That's something that really resonates with them, and it's been sort of fun calling the exercises that over the years. So we're going to go ahead and get started today by playing in what's called fifth position. Any position that you have on the instrument is where your index finger is or would play. And so fifth position will be here. You can, if you've got a dot on your neck, you can use that for visualization. Otherwise, you count up to fret 5. Index will be on fret 5, ring on 6, middle on 6, ring on 7, and pinky on 8. Easy for me to say, right? And so what we'll do basically is I'd like to see a couple of things so you make sure you're doing it. First of all, I think go ahead and play it. Use your thumb, use P, and just plunk something out. I'll do what a lot of students do to start off with. Notice my finger placement. Okay, I'm very purposely doing not a lot of contact and making some string buzz. It really happens with a lot of students at the beginning. And so I immediately show them how to fix that. So listen to that again, the yucky sound, right? And they usually have to fix that by pulling real hard and all sorts of frustrated. So a couple of things we need to address. One, I always tell people to have their fingernail almost touching the fingerboard. So I want to see a really good angle of that coming straight down like this. We don't want to play on the pad of the finger. You know, once you've played for a while, and if you do play on the pad of the finger, you don't feel like you're in control. And so we want to be up high like that. So that's where I say the fingernail should almost touch that fingerboard. Hopefully you can see that. Otherwise, give it a shot with your own guitar at home. Also, I'd like to see fingertips really close to that fret. And I say sealing up the fret, being right next to it, okay? Not on top of it. If you're on top of the fret, you get that thuddy, yucky sound. We want to be right next to it, okay? I've got more to say about feeling stable and playing close to the fret, and I'll address that in a future video regarding the hammer-on and pull-off or slurs technique. And so that's something that's yet to come. Also, with our left hand, I want you to take advantage of the fact that you can see where this little, where the thumb bends. That right there is a great visual marker, and if you can find the center of your guitar neck, it should go that way. Okay, your thumb should go the same direction as your frets, and that center part of your thumb should ride all the way down the center of your neck. That's a great baseline place. Everyone's thumb and everyone's hand does a little bit of a variation on that, but I'd like you to start in a good place to begin with, and that is sort of centered, okay? So, having all that and going ahead and sealing up our frets, we're going to get into the fifth position, and here we go. Index finger is going to be right here, and right hand wise, I'll also say, go ahead and just thumb everything for right now. Just use P, pulgar, go ahead and use the thumb. We don't need to get fancy and use fingers just yet. I'll hit that in a moment, So, we're going to be in fifth position, fret 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I'm going to walk across all 6 strings a couple of different ways. I think to get started, it's a-okay to just have each finger sort of pop up and down. I think that's fine. It's a really concrete thing, and a lot of my students over the years seem to get that right away. There's probably some physiological reason that I'm not aware of why that works. So that's sort of the pop the finger up and down way. I think that's fine. Notice I'm next to the fret. Then, after students play that for a while, you can go ahead and leave the fingers down. I think that limberness, that ease of playing, it sort of takes a life of its own after someone gets used to it. I think to try to force a student to do that right away is probably a little too much. So if you're working on this yourself, just work it in a way that works for you to get started. I think the fingers popping up at first is A-okay. So we've got the first order, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see in the comment section I have a PDF that's free to download that has all 24 possibilities of the order of 1, 2, 3, 4 without repeating the fingers all the way to the last one, which is 4, 3, 2, 1. So I've called them stacks, starting the finger number with the stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 3, etc. Then you have the stack starting with the middle finger. You have the stack starting with the ring finger, and then finally the stack starting with the pinky. And so those are just a way to get yourself working on those exercises. Let me show you the very, very first exercise in the very, very first stack, as I've called it. So this is going across the fretboard, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to use index and middle right now. What I would advise a lot of students to do is just to go ahead and double the fingers right away. What I mean by that is hit every note twice, going either M-I, M-I, or I-M, I-M. So let's give that a shot here. Then I'll have the student walk it back with the new fingering, 1, 2, 4, 3. Now, 1, 3, 4, 2. One, 3, 2, 4. Quite often in this process, a student, once they're working, they get through a couple of them, they might start to speed up, and I would really, really urge not to do that. I think playing things slowly and under control so that you get a nice repetition, you get nice tone, I think that is the name of the game. Speed is something you cultivate over time, and I think playing at a nice steady tempo is way more important at this point. So don't rush these chromatic exercises or any other technique work. Make sure you get the technique down first, then you can start to increase speed as you're comfortable. We're ready for the last two bits of that stack, and at this point I want to show something else that happens often as well. Sometimes students will think they are moving a finger and really they're not. Case in point, now we're ready for the 1, 4, 2, 3. I believe, and so I'll show you what I mean by that. Sometimes we'll go like this, 1, 4, and they think they're playing 2 because they put down 2 down, but they haven't lifted 4 up. And so those things happen. If that's happening to you, just sort of shake your hand out, take a breath, say it out loud if you need to. 1, 4, 2, 3. Think it all the way down. And then finally, to finish out the stack, 1, 4, 3, 2. These exercises have been, I've been using them since I started playing in about 1991. My very first guitar instructor showed them to me, and I absolutely believe in them. They were great exercises then. They're wonderful exercises now, and I think if you work these and work them often, I think it's a great building block on your guitar technique. Thanks for watching. I would invite you to subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and also go ahead and ring the bell so you can stay updated with all the latest videos. I'm really trying to go for a monthly content release once a month, and I just welcome you to Powell Guitar, and I hope to see you back on the next video. Thanks and happy playing.